Day 17 of learning AI. I've memorized 48 prompt templates. I still don't know what a model is. I made ChatGPT write my entire cover letter. I built a mental model of how transformers work. Guess who gets the promotion in 2026? Most people are learning AI backwards. Here's what they're doing wrong and how to fix it before the gap gets even wider. I'm Elle. I've spent years translating complex AI systems into plain language because learning tools without understanding systems is a recipe for irrelevance. Let's flip the script. Today we'll break down a couple of reasons most people are learning AI the wrong way and what a smarter and saner path looks like. Let's start with the elephant in the room, prompt hacking. There are thousands of posts, courses, and even entire careers springing up around mastering the perfect prompt. People are spending hours tweaking sentence stems like they're tuning a Stradivarius. But here's the harsh truth: if your understanding of AI begins and ends with prompts, you're learning to ride a tiger by studying its whiskers. Let me put it another way. Learning AI by memorizing prompts is like trying to master chess by memorizing openings without knowing how the pieces actually move. It's brittle and shallow, and as soon as the board changes, you're toast. Prompt engineering is useful, but it is not a foundation. It's a party trick built on a foundation. If you don't understand the system underneath, you're just shaking the vending machine hoping for snacks. Here's what's really going on under the hood. When you write a prompt, you're not telling AI what to do. You're triggering a statistical engine that's trying to guess what words logically come out next. That is it. It's not reasoning, it's not thinking, it is predicting. And that brings us to the next big misconception. People thinking that AI is magic when it really is just statistics. We've all seen the headlines: AI is coming for your job, this model just passed the bar exam, ChatGPT might be sentient. I wish. Take a breath and say it with me. AI is not magic, it's just math. Or more precisely, it is statistics on steroids. At its core, every large language model, from GPT to Claude to Gemini, is just a giant autocomplete engine trained on billions of lines of human language. When you ask it a question, what it's really doing is calculating, given everything I've seen before, what is the most statistically likely next word? That's it. That is the game. Let's break it down in 1 minute. We have input, embedding, natural layers, output token. Input is when you type something. An embedding is basically the words being converted into very long strings of numbers, math representations that capture relationships between different concepts. Neural layers is essentially when these strings of numbers pass through hundreds of layers, which are parts of the model, each one with new pieces of knowledge that the model has picked up before, called weights. The output token is essentially when the model spits out the next word, then the next, then the next. That's how it writes poems, that's how it solves logic puzzles, that's how it hallucinates such confidently wrong answers. It's not a mind, it's a mirror reflecting the probabilities we have taught it. And yet most tutorials anthropomorphize AI. They tell you to talk to it like a person. They give it names and personas. I mean, I do as well. They make it feel mystical. And don't get me wrong, I love doing that too, but the more you treat AI like magic, the less control you'll have over it. Subscribe now for straight talking breakdowns like this, and check the description. Neural Notes is my free weekly drop for building AI fluency without the fluff. Next up, knowing all of this, why are so many people stuck? Let's break them down into various groups. There's of course the creators. They're chasing AI for productivity, writing faster, generating thumbnails, scheduling tweets. There's nothing wrong with that until they hit a wall. They don't understand the limits of the models that they use. They treat ChatGPT like a content canon, but not like a system. And when it starts making stuff up or failing in edge cases, they panic. Then there is, of course, the professionals. This group is sacred. The consultants, the analysts, the managers, they see AI creeping into their industry, but instead of preparing to co-pilot, they freeze. They're asking, will I be replaced? But not asking, how do I collaborate with this thing? That is a huge miss. Another group is the curious crowd. Hopefully all of you guys. These are the lifelong learners. People who want to understand AI, but every resource is either too fluffy, 10 ways to use AI for your vision board, or too technical, gradient descent math proofs. So they hover in this weird middle space, feeling behind but overwhelmed. It's like trying to learn to cook from a physicist or a TikTok star. One gives you formulae, the other one gives you vibe. Neither helps you eat dinner. So what should AI learning actually look like? Let us rewind and build from the ground up. Imagine you're at a bustling high-end kitchen. the kind where chefs don't just follow recipes, they create them. They're flames, shouting, plated art. Now imagine walking in, apron on, and your plan is to memorize the top 50 recipes off Pinterest and hope you make it through dinner service. How do you think that's gonna go? That is what most people are trying to do with AI right now. They're walking into a complex, evolving system, and instead of learning how the kitchen works, how heat changes ingredients, how flavors balance, they're just Googling prompts for viral tweet threads and calling it mastery. But let's flip the lens. What if instead of copying recipes, you started to understand how the stove works? What if you knew why salt matters, how to recover from too much acid, or why chocolate seizes? That is the difference between using AI and being fluent in AI. Let's break down what real learning actually looks like. 1. You start with concepts, not tools. When most people start learning AI, they go straight for the hacks. Give me the top prompts for writing blog posts. How do I use AI to make 1,000 a week? What's the best GPT-4 jailbreak right now? It's tactical, transactional, and in the short term, yeah, it works. You will get some quick wins, but long term, you hit a wall and fast. Because the tools change, but the system doesn't. Instead of asking what prompts should I use, try asking what does this model actually know? How does it make decisions? What are its blind spots? What happens when it doesn't know what to say but says something anyway? These are systems level questions. They create a mental map, and maps are better than cheat codes because you can find your way even when the terrain shifts. Number 2, use metaphors that stick. The truth is nobody, not even engineers, learns this stuff from first principles alone. We all need metaphors. We need the mental Velcro that lets abstract ideas stick. So here is a few to carry with you. A large language model is a prediction engine, not a brain. It doesn't think, it doesn't know in the human sense. It's trained to guess what comes next based on massive patterns in language, like autocomplete but wearing a suit and reciting Shakespeare. Using a model is like cooking with a recipe. Understanding one is like becoming a chef. Recipes are great until something goes wrong. Then what? If you understand ingredients, flavor, timing, you adapt. Same with AI. If you know how the model works, you don't panic when it gives you nonsense, you just adjust. It's great at finding patterns. It's terrible at understanding causes. AI can tell you that people who buy diapers often buy beer, but it can't tell you why. Hint, tired parents. That leap from correlation to causation is still a human skill, one you need to keep sharp. It can mimic ethics, but it can't feel them. You can fine-tune a model to sound empathetic, but empathy isn't just words. It is rooted in experience, emotion, reflection. Machines can fake morality, but they can't mean it. Remember that. You don't need to memorize tensor algebra, but you do need a mental framework. A way to say, oh, I see how this fits together. Otherwise, every new update will feel like a language you don't speak. 3. Build a map so you can navigate, not just copy. So what kind of map are we talking about? Imagine standing in front of a giant piece of machinery. Levers, blinking lights, spinning gears. Most people just push buttons and hope it does something cool. But fluent users, they know what each part is for. They don't interact, they navigate. Here's a basic map you can carry in your head. What AI is good at, and no, I don't just mean LLMs. Scale. It can write 1,000 emails before you finish your coffee. Repetition. It doesn't get bored or distracted or need lunch. Language. It's trained on so much text it can outpunch Shakespeare. Pattern recognition. It can spot trends across oceans of data that you'd never even notice. This is where you lean in. You co-pilot, you delegate, you explore what's possible. What AI is bad at? Causal reasoning. It doesn't know that pushing the vase caused it to fall. It just knows vases fall is statistically likely in certain sentences and situations. Emotional intelligence. It can simulate warmth, but it can't feel the heat. Common sense. If you ask it whether a giraffe can fit in your fridge, it might pause. Original intent. It doesn't get your deeper goal unless you explicitly spell it out. This is where you stay alert. You take the wheel, you don't let it decide the route when you're flying through a foggy canyon. You with me so far? That's exactly why I'm building the AI Fluency course, designed for smart, non-technical thinkers who want to understand the machine, not just to use it. No coding, no jargon, just the clarity and confidence to lead, build, and create with AI instead of reacting to it. It's not out yet, but the waitlist is open. If this spoke to you, sign up now. Link is in the description. You'll be the first to know when it drops, and you'll get exclusive early content along the way. So, if you're learning AI like it's a magic trick, you'll be replaced by someone who treats AI like a system. But if you understand the underlying mechanics, even at a high level, you become irreplaceable. Because you don't just use the tools, You know when to use them, you know why they work, and you ask better questions than anyone else in the room. So if this shifted how you think even a little, like this video and subscribe. I break down AI without the hype, one concept at a time. And if you're still not sure where you stand, take my How AI Ready Are You quiz. It's free, you're probably a lot smarter than you think. See you in the next one.